RigoRox2001 here, making another video. Today I want to share with you a discussion on Sonic Advance, a game for the Game Boy Advance. This is my original copy from 2002, for those who don't know. Either I got the Game Boy Advance back in 2001 or 2002. I think it was 2002, because in 2001 I was still rocking a Game Boy Color. Mine was purple, but I don't have that unit anymore. I have a translucent purple one now, which is really cool. But other than that, yeah, this is one of my first two Game Boy Advance games I got when I got my first ever Game Boy Advance. My original one was white, which I don't have with me anymore. Instead, I have a pretty cool limited edition Pokemon Center New York edition, which I'll share with another video. But, yeah, Sonic Advance is the second 2D Sonic game I ever played because, well, back in the day, my folks were Nintendo people. We've had a Super Nintendo, N64. Well, we traded Super Nintendo for an N64, basically. And, yeah. Then we have a GameCube, but that's a different story. This is the second 2D game I ever played. I'll go over that in a moment. I've been a huge fan of Sonic the Hedgehog since 1998 or 99. Back when it aired, they aired The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog on Toon Disney. Well, it's now called Disney XD, but this was back when it was called Toon Disney. They aired reruns of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. That's how I got introduced to the show. Of course, some people are going to say, dude, why didn't you watch Sat AM instead of that pile of garbage? That wasn't my fault. I was born in 95. They weren't rerunning Sat AM on any station. It was yanked off the schedule completely. Trust me, I checked back then and it was yanked off the schedule. But Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was rerunning on Toon Disney and I thought it was a decent show. I thought it was funny. Then one day they yanked it off the channel, which made me pretty sad because I really liked watching that show on that channel. Sure, they had other stuff on the channel, but I really wanted to watch more Sonic the Hedgehog. So, between that and 2003, when Sonic X actually came out, which I have a soft side for that show. I'll save that for my other channel. But in the meantime, around 2000 to 2001, a family member of mine got to let me try out a Sega Game Gear, and that game that was in the cartridge was Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I never got to play Sonic 1 for the Game Gear until 2004, when I unlocked it in Sonic Adventure's Director's Cut. So, yeah, not my fault. It was the fault of that family member. So, that kind of made me, well, pipe down for a while. But I could never beat the first boss in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, unfortunately. Because I kept dying many times. I even got to see the game over screen many, many times. So, it was impossible to defeat the first boss. I mean, how can you dodge a bouncing boulder without tumbling towards those claws? That's really hard. So, this is technically the third ever Sonic game I ever played, Sonic Advance. The second one was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube. That's going to get its own video as well. Sonic Advance, let me just say, is a far better 2D game than Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for Game Gear. If you're looking for a good 2D Sonic game, do not play the Game Gear one unless you are willing to throw your Game Gear at the wall or something. Or Master System, because the game was also on the Master System. I say this kindly because it's hard. The Genesis version of Sonic 2 is a masterpiece. That one you should play. Back on topic. Sonic Advance was one of the first two Game Boy Advance games I ever got, the other one being Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2. The funny thing is, I ended up getting 2 copies of Super Mario World for the Game Boy Advance, so what did we do? We went to my local Target back in the day, and we traded it for this game. Mainly because I really wanted to play a Sonic game, a 2D game that I thought would be good. And this is it. You got to play as 4 different characters. You got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. And the object is to clear a level. Each level has an act, 2 acts. The first one is basically your generic get to the goal, but the second act, you battle Dr. Eggman. And there are a total of, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zones plus a final boss. Now, I never got to beat the final boss, but I still love this game, even though I haven't collected everything. But it's still really a good game. I mean, back in the day, I always played this on my trusty old Game Boy Advance. Now, this is not the Game Boy Advance that I had back in the day. Well, let me zoom out. This is not the Game Boy Advance that I had back in the day. And this is not my limited edition one. This is actually one that I'm fixing for a friend, and I got it working. My launch Game Boy Advance that I got back in the day was white, for those who don't know. And another family member had a clear red, which looks more pink. So, yeah, I basically loaded it in the system, rocked it with this. Then I had an SP, and you get the idea. But we're not going to demonstrate this game on the Game Boy Advance. If you've seen my older videos, I have an adapter that works on the Super Famicom. We're going to test this game on the Super Retro Advance adapter so I can show you some cool stuff on it. So, let's get to it. I got my Super Retro Advance adapter hooked up, and I got Sonic Advance in the cartridge slot. And just because why not, I'm going to use my Retrobit controller that's shaped like a Sega Saturn, because why not? The Sega Saturn had Sonic games that were, well, one was good and the other, well, was mediocre and one's trash. I'm not going to go over which is which. I think you can figure out which is which. I've only played 3D Blast, but that was on the Genesis, and that's a completely different story, but let's not go over that. So, let's go ahead and fire up the system. And let's move the tripod so we can see the game in action. Oh, there we are. Turn on the sound. You got Game Start versus Time Attack, Options, Tiny Chow Garden. Let's start with the Tiny Chow Garden. This is the feature. This game is also on the Panasonic Cube for those who don't know, but the Panasonic Cube version does not have Versus or Tiny Chow Garden. It only has Time Attack, Options, and Game Start. Let's show the Tiny Chow Garden. This feature was also in the game Sonic Pinball Party, and I'm not sure if it was also in Sonic Battle, but I'm pretty sure it was. As you can tell, I have an empty No Chow here because I transferred it to my copy of Sonic Adventure Director's Cut or Sonic Adventure 2. I don't remember which one, but let me show you the ones to choose from. You got Rock, Paper, Scissors here. That's a draw. I win. You gotta beat the clock in. You gotta... Because if you waste a triangle, that's bad. Boom. Throw. Time's running out. I'm out of time. This one is a memory game for each of the colors here. The Dreamcast VMUs have this game. You can also trip them over. And you can only make 3 mistakes. Once you make 3 mistakes, it's game over. Unfortunately, I wasn't paying attention, so sorry. Strike 1. Strike 2. Oh, hello. Cake. Oh, that was lucky. Strike 3. I'm out! That's where the other ones were. I'm never good at that one. But that's basically Tiny Chow Garden. But let's get back to the main game. Sorry I was showing off that feature, but I want to show off what the game does. So, I'm skipping the intro. In options, you got player data, level, you can make it easy or normal. Time up is for a time limit. Sound test, I'll show that in a moment. You can change the language from English to Japanese. Button configuration, you can have it normal or reverse. Delete game data, which I'm not going to demonstrate because it wipes your data, and I spent all these years to get this far. We're talking over a decade. Sound test, let me show you. This is where you listen to soundtrack. And look who's modeling for us. It's good old Amy Rose, back before the current voice actress started voicing her. This was back when Jennifer Dillard voiced her. Man, I miss Jennifer, but I really miss Lisa Terrace the most. Let's do a sample. Let's do track 30. Look at that, she's dancing with maracas. Alright, let's just get back to the main focus. I just wanted to find a short clip, and I got what I wanted. And player data, that's not my real name, that's just my avatar's name for my stories, but I originally had my original name on here, but I'd rather not get into that. In versus mode, it shows how many wins, how many losses, and how many draws you had against someone else. Like, apparently I had another copy of this game that came with another Game Boy Advance, but I sold that copy to someone else. I should get another copy of Sonic Advance so I can play against some friends locally, because I do have the link cable. In versus mode, in multi-pack mode, you would have to have 2 cartridges, or 3 or 4. In single game pack mode, you just need a link cable and a Game Boy Advance that does not have a cartridge. And when you load the game, or try to get it to load, you have a waiting screen that says, please wait. Not going to demonstrate the whole thing because it's just going to look back and forth. And then you'll get that error. Time attack. You can look at your records on which stages you've played. I never got past Zone 6 Act 2. I did make it to the final zone, but some friend of mine, so-called friend, ended up wiping my game, and I had to start from scratch. When you start, here are your characters. As mentioned, Sonic the Hedgehog, Miles Tails Prower, Knuckles the Echidna, and Amy Rose. I need to mention each character has each specialty. Sonic is the fast runner. Tails can fly. Knuckles can cling onto walls. And Amy, she can't spin dash. She's got her hammer. I might as well start. We'll select Sonic and see how far I am. Yeah, I haven't gotten that far with Sonic because I had trouble. Let's see how I am with Tails. Oh, but Tails, I'm pretty far. Knuckles. Same as Sonic. Or no. And Amy. How far have I gotten with Amy? Wow. I'll demonstrate how each character does things. We'll start with Zone 1, Act 1. I'm going to try to make this quick. See, Sonic just has the fast run. He can also do his that was not in the present. Oh, that's called the spin dash. I was trying to think of what the name was called. Ow! It's not cool. Take that. Yeah, right off the screen. Checkpoint. Don't touch the spikes. Check! Made it to the end. Yeah, 2. There we are. I'll demonstrate a little bit the level with Tails. Starting with Zone 1, Act 1. See, Tails can hover in the air. Cream can also do that in Sonic Advance 2. Unfortunately, my copy of Sonic Advance 2 got stolen. But you want to be careful. If you fly too high, he'll lose. He'll get tired, of course, and you want to be careful when that happens. And he can attack with his tails. Whoa, that was a close one. Now I'm going to demonstrate with Knuckles. Trying to make this quick. With Knuckles, he can punch things and break solid objects, some of them. Boom. If only I could find a wall object. This may take a moment. Come on. Ah, here we are. See? There we are. Cling to a wall. And checkpoint. Now I'm going to show you some gameplay with Amy. She's my favorite character, but in this game that's a completely different story. At least in the first game. I don't know what she does if she's a playable character in Sonic Advance 2. I do know you can unlock her in Sonic Advance 3. That's the Pico Pico Hammer. And no, she can't do Spin Dash. Look. Nope. Negatory. Ah! Stupid crab. Ah! Yeah. As you can tell. Nope. I keep getting the controls mixed up with Sonic Adventure. I do apologize. Yeah, that gives you an idea. Oops. I forgot to press A and B when I tried to reset the game. Well, that gives you an idea of Sonic Advance. Do I recommend picking up this game? Yes. If you have a Panasonic Q... No, I'm sorry, N-Gage, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you have a Panasonic N-Gage, you can get this game for that, but I'd recommend the Game Boy Advance version because this has a lot more features. You got Versus Mode and the Tiny Chow Garden. With the Tiny Chow Garden, you can link this up with Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Adventure Director's Cuts. So that pretty much wraps up Sonic Advance. So that pretty much concludes my video and salute to this game. So thanks for watching. This is Rico Rock 2001 signing off.